On October 2022, Tia Mowry would post on Instagram about something that would really shake her fan base, that she was divorcing her husband, Cory Hardrick. This idea of black love was leaving. Cory Hardrick didn't want to leave his family, but again, Tia Mowry decided otherwise. She felt that she had more opportunities someplace else. And then, of course, we saw Tia Mowry try to date and get men, but yeah, she was getting nowhere.
Got him!
But every now and then, we would hear this.
Well, baby, I saw this and I had to talk about it. Y'all see it. Tia Mowry and Cory Hardrick have officially rekindled their love. And let me tell you something. I'm all for this. Black love, baby.
Tia Mowry and Cory Hardrick are back together. We would always hear that. You would hear it on Tasha K. You would hear it on TikTok. I don't know how many times I heard it in the last 2 years. And of course, it is no different now. Just on December 6, 2025, Media Takeout made this article. Tia Mowry and Cory Hardrick may be getting back together. And of course, if you look at the holiday season on Thanksgiving, there we saw them together as a family, posting pictures, eating, and enjoying themselves. And I will say that food looks good. Again, they've been cordial, no doubt. And of course, that's still the rumor. They could be together and not telling anybody. But let's assume that this is actually going to happen. Could two people who have actually been divorced for some time come back together? Well, let's think about it.
So I get asked, do I miss being married? Absolutely, I miss being married. Am I loving being single right now? I am. And do I miss my ex-husband? Here's the thing. I miss the man that I married, not the man that I divorced. Two totally different people.
Now, this is a lady who was married and is now divorced. She talks about missing her ex-husband. And she says, well, do you ever miss your husband? And she says, yes, I miss the person that I married. I don't miss the person that he became. And this is so true. Anybody in a long-term relationship or in a friendship, or even if you've been married before, you always think about the person that you first got with instead of the person that they became. And again, when we do things, we're at different stages of our life. Things change, values can change, and sometimes we feel like we're not getting as much as we were getting before. And that certainly could have been the case with Tia Mowry. Now, there was an advantage that Tia Mowry always had over Cory Hardrick, and that is she's always been commercially more successful with Sister and being in the industry longer. And of course, she could have felt that, she was carrying him the whole entire time. And I don't know what the reason why she left him, but she just left him. And this was the reason that we knew.
When something no longer serves you, when something no longer serves your values, no longer serves what you envision your life to be, when something no longer serves you in this present moment, even if it served you in the past, you need to learn to remove yourself. You need to learn to prioritize yourself.
Now, this is a generic reason that she gave. And this is the same thing that I clearly hear a lot of women saying. Leave if it no longer serves you. This is very Tracy Ellis Ross. This is very Lori Harvey. And again, once something doesn't serve you anymore, whatever that means, you should leave the relationship. And here is the problem with a lot of the relationships today, especially when it comes to what Kevin Samuels will say, modern women. As long as something doesn't serve you, you must go. Meaning that my happiness is so much more important than the relationship or the partner. That's the issue. But this is the same thing that Tia Mowry said. She's talked about it on Twitter. She would never go back to Cory Hardrick because of this. But when Cory Hardrick was asked specifically about the situation, what did he say?
You've been very, very private about your separation and divorce from your wife, Tia Mowry. But what I love is there's not drama surrounding you. What would you tell people who are going through the same thing that you went through about how to stay in that lane?
So number one, while Tia Mowry was taking shots at him indirectly and liking posts when they were divorced and all that, he stayed the course, being a man despite the fact that he was really, really hurt. He wanted his wife back. She didn't want to be with him. And then what does he say?
You said it, the kids. It's like the kids is like you will, if you really love your children, you won't get involved in the noise or the mess. And I make sure that I always think about them first. I put myself last.
So he said, listen, I don't want to be messy because it's about my kids. It's about my kids. I love my kids, okay? I put my kids and my family first. I put myself last. Damn. And see, that's the difference, right? When you have a person that puts themselves first, like Tia Mowry, and a person that puts himself last, like Cory Hardrick, yes, then you can have a marriage. The problem is when a person overestimates their leverage and believe that, I can do better than the person who puts themselves last because really this isn't serving me. So if I go back out to the market, somebody else will put themselves last while I put myself first, even though I'm in my 40s. Right? And then let's talk about this. Despite the fact that they had kids, Tia Mowry was still willing to break the relationship up.
We don't like to talk about this, but that's an actually very irresponsible thing to do, because if you made a decision to procreate with a person, you at least owe it to your children. And I know we don't like to say, oh, you don't have to stay for the kids, you're gonna be suffering. Your suffering is a choice, because love is a choice. You choosing to suffer in that relationship, you choosing to hyper focus on all the negative things about that person instead of figuring out how to make it work with that person, instead of thinking long term, thinking far enough ahead to be like, how is this going to impact my children? And a lot of times we're not mature enough to have that conversation. And I think it also takes like a certain surrendering and understanding the word of God, because nowhere in scripture do we find extreme romance as evidence of people being in love. Love is commitment.
But really, staying in a relationship, especially one that doesn't seem it was abusive, for your kids is the real commitment, because the real love is based in commitment. But that's not what we have here. You see, Tia Mowry is always about herself. Even if they already get back together, there isn't a real commitment to the relationship. There isn't a real commitment to the kids. It's not even a real commitment to Cory Hardrick. Not even a real commitment to himself. But again, he could fall back into this. Why? Because he's a guy that will put himself last for the sake of the kids. And many men do this a lot. But here's the key thing.
The people that win long term are the ones that can hold their breath the longest and give away as much value for free as possible.
You see, when you're a person that puts yourself last, you give value. Don't get me wrong, you can be used, but we've already seen how Cory Hardrick's career has blossomed after the breakup of Tia Mowry. He's gotten multiple opportunities through Megan Good and later Tyler Perry. He's making more money. He's being more relevant. Tia Mowry is, in my opinion, chasing brand deals and still mentioning to Cory Hardrick in any way she can to stay relevant. And he allows her to do that because she needs the money. But ultimately, he is giving more value to the world. And if he wanted to marry and date any other woman he could, he would be able to. And the reason why she can't is because she's just not worth anything in the dating market.
Woo!
And so my question is, if you were in a situation where you still loved your wife, she made a mistake, she found out that she wasn't that valuable in the market and she wanted to get back with you, would you do it for the sake of your kids? I can't tell you what to do, but what I can say is this. If she did it once, she'd do it again. And what does that mean? Well, she would always feel that she deserves better than who you are as a man. And I understand once you've been with somebody for a long time, they can get used to you, believing that, other people will treat you the same way. But the reality is that when people are nice to you and they love you, they don't have to do that for you. That's something that you get because, number one, you're lucky, or number two, you worked for it. But that doesn't mean that you are owed that. Simply put, you might meet, 5 to 10 people in your entire life that are really, really good friends and really good allies. And everybody is not going to look at you in the same way. And some men might want to go back to a situation like this for the fact that, hey, you know how I still love my wife. I can work it out with her, or I still love my kids. But the reality is that does your wife or ex-girlfriend or whoever else value you? And are they only valuing you because they thought that you were not as good and then they found out that you are as good? So now they want to come back because they think they have leverage now, or they want you back. And it's just sad to see a good man who puts himself last for his family is still being ousted by a person that puts themselves first. And this is why so many black men have a hard time with being providers or leaders for the wrong woman, because a lot of black men feel that there are women out there who don't want to put that same energy in. Of course, the longer you stay around with somebody, obviously things can change, people change. But the one thing is commitment, and it's commitment to the struggle of being together or working it out and keeping your family together, because you do have kids and you make this commitment. Not the commitment to yourself, because obviously you want to feel like something is serving you. The person that's saying that only wants to be served and they don't want to serve anything else. So what happens to a person like that? Well, we've seen Tia Mowry. You must only be in situations that serve you, but that person doesn't serve anybody. So ultimately, when you only want to be served and you don't serve others, ecosystem stops serving you. And now you're complaining because guys are not like my ex-husband, or guys are not like they used to be. But you are not doing anything for anybody, so nobody does anything for you. And then ultimately you find out that you're worthless in the dating market, because somebody must always serve you when you're not worth being served. Woo! And the person that wants to put themselves last is always going to be giving value, and that person's going to always rise. And this is the exact reason why Cory Hardrick may never go back to Tia Mowry, because he can always do better. Tia Mowry just cannot do better, because nobody wants to put up with all of that. And that's the one thing, guys, like, don't stop giving value in, putting others first, but just make sure that you don't do that for a person that doesn't deserve it, because you don't want to end up being like Tia Mowry, being valueless in the dating market and being selfish, because you'll end up being single and bitter like her.
Got him!
So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshay Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Would you follow you? Turn the bell. We're out.